Okay, Mr. McKenna, I'm so sorry about that. So technically, I'm recording. So basically, I have to record your macro explanation and your violations as well. So just want to let you know that I'm recording. My body cam is on. It's running. Okay. And I believe we were at 1022 disregard. So basically, like I, okay, copy that. Don't I thank you, Daddy.
I've
Okay,
seen
so
Batman come across HP sometime and use them, so I kind of watched him, and see what they do for the macros they show.
okay, you have. Okay, great. But my goal, like I said, as FTO, I have to explain them to me, or Chief would be up my butt. So I
Yeah,
gotta
yeah,
kind of
yeah. Just
explain
your job.
it.
Mind your job.
Chief be
I
like,
understand. Do your job.
yeah. The Chief be like, the lion is you, then So, okay. So, 1023 is basically arrived on scene. So, basically, you've made it to the scene of the crime, made it to the scene of the accident. You're just letting us know that you arrived on scene, okay? Because sometimes you might be able to be the backup, or you will be the backup at one point, once you get badge. So, just let everybody know that you arrived on the scene to help your fellow officer and
It
vice
kind of
versa.
break away a while ago.
Oh,
The microphone kind of break away.
okay. Did you hear me? Can you hear me now?
You know?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I'm hearing you clearly.
Okay, perfect. So basically, like I said, you would get the chance to be back up as well. So once you get badge and get accustomed to what's going on in your macros and things of that nature, you would actually be able to respond to that about, arrived on scene. So that's kind of a good feeling too as well. Okay. Okay, so suspect detained. This can mean I want to say a few things, but I'm just gonna give you a couple of examples. So let's just say, for example, you weren't doing a traffic stop. Let's just say you were out and about on the streets or just patrolling around, and let's just say, for an example, you wanted to check someone's ID, but they wouldn't stay still. They just, you can actually detain them, okay, and say, hey, listen, I'm just here to do, um an ID check on you, just to kind of like role play it out how you would like to role play it out. But that if you need to detain them, you can detain them and use this macro and then complete the action. Okay. Okay. So this is 1027, which is an ID check, and 1029 a warrant check. So basically, let's just say you're in a traffic stop, and you can say, "Hello, my name is It'll be Errol McKinley with the West Coast State Police Department, badge number 123. Okay, so you would ask them for their license and registration. They would give you their license, and you go back to your PD car and run a check. Okay, dispatch will also reply and answer to you when this macro is thrown. Okay, they'll ask you for the name, and what you do is just type in name, correct. And we do a complete like search on them. We'll actually type the name in and we'll let you know with dispatch whether it's clean or they want it. Makes sense.
Yeah, I understand. Instead of if you don't want to like do it here in the car, you could let dispatch do it.
Yeah, well, you have to put the macro up to let them know that you did it. That you did ask, in fact, ask for license and registration. They gave it to you because you would actually ask them for their vehicle specs. That's actually running a license check, and then dispatch will come on and say name, and you will put, for example, the lioness. And then once you put the lioness, you wait for your dispatch to respond clean or wanted. If they're clean, you can give them a citation, and you would put, because we have a macro for the citation, You would actually let them know, hey, I need you to put slash do sign, and they would actually put in chat right up under it that they sign the citation. Okay, it's kind of cool how it goes. Okay, 10:30 is wanted. We do. Did you do your PD tour, Mr. McKinley? Just to confirm.
Yes, I did.
Okay, did you see the wanted mission circle in yellow? Say it one more time. I'm sorry.
Sorry about that. Say it one more time. I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm saying sorry about that. I'm having a little trouble to find them exactly because it's hard to find them. I don't for a while.
Give me one moment. Let me answer Benny. No disregard. And also, like, let's just say, for example, did you see what I just put in chat, Mr. McKinley, Officer McKinley, where it says the lioness macros and violation training, disregard macros? So basically, you can chat with your other fellow officers in Flyby. You don't have to necessarily use your macros, but you can actually chat with them back and forth in blue, because the only ones that can see it in blue is officers. Okay.
Yeah, I know.
Okay. All right. Well, we don't see. Okay, so like I said, once again, a 10:30 is wanted. So basically, for example, I'll take you down it again to show you down in the jail that there's a little circle in yellow that says wanted. Now, the only way,
Oh, yes.
yep, the only way that you can do a wanted mission is that if you're vested, like me, myself. So I'm a major. So I can actually, if we have five or more um, vested officers, we can go on a wanted mission. We would definitely have to put this in chat. And even when you do a traffic stop, and let's just say you come across somebody on the wanted list, call for backup. Get your first arrest for somebody that was on the wanted list. But you would throw this in chat to let everybody know that this person is wanted. Okay. Okay. There you go. Your 1032 backup needed. I mean, even in any hostile situation, even a traffic stop, because a traffic stop can get hostile. It really can. It can go south real quick. So if you knowing you probably need some backup, get you some backup. Call it in.
Yeah, but suppose when I do the traffic stop and I'm like there and I call back up and I'm waiting for backup and they speed off, what must I do?
Say it again.
Like if I do the traffic stop and they stop and then I call for a backup, but backup doesn't reach in time before they speed off, what should I do?
What you can do, you can go in a hot in pursuit and hawk them down. You can do that. We have a macro for that as well.
Do them. Yeah, and the in pursuit, I will try to give them a little, they call it a pit, what do you call it, pit maneuver.
Pit maneuver.
Yeah, you don't know that when they like use the front of their car, like if someone is they're chasing, they use the front of their car to like hit the back part of the another person's one so they can
Yeah, like a V. That's
kind of spin out to
technically a
stop.
VDM. That's a violation. I'm gonna go over that too as well. So yeah, that's a violation. So let's just say, for example, you're in pursuit with the one that just took off. Okay, He just thought you said free to go, ma'am, or free to go, sir. You get what I'm saying? And you get in pursuit with this civilian. Let's just say you catch him. Okay. 9 out of 10, like I said, let's just say he was behind you or he turned back around and he VDM you. Okay. You can actually charge him with that if you get in pursuit with him. That's if you want to get in pursuit with them. You get what I'm saying? So, and if you need backup, let's just say you in pursuit, you need backup, call backup. So you in pursuit of him, and you got your backup team or your officers coming in to make sure that you can make this arrest or stop him or pull him over or need help with that. So yeah, you can definitely go in pursuit with him or her. Do you have any questions about that?
No, no, I understand you.
Okay. I mean, I can go into further detail, or I can get something like a higher up to explain it better, as well. Like, I've been in pursuit, you know, like I said, but I waited to get my badge to make any like type of moves. I did in fact rank up a little higher till I got continuously kind of got comfortable with actually trying to do an in pursuit. But like I said, to each his own, and everybody learns differently. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, this is a good one. Let's just say, for example, this a 1041 requesting inmate transportation. Let's just say you got the civilian, you picked him up from HP, because HP be a hot spot for, and you can make arrests once you become badged. Okay, so make a long story short. Let's just say your vehicle spawned and it just got towed away, but you got this suspect in handcuffs in custody. So you would actually put that macro in, and somebody will come to you from PD and bring you a vehicle and transport the inmate back to PD. Make sense? Because you cannot run down the street back from HP to PD with somebody in handcuffs. That's just not allowed. That's a RP fail, and that's one of our PD rules as well.
Okay.
Okay, shootout in progress. Um, Now, where were you, Mr. McKinney, when they started shooting at you? Were you headed back to PD?
No, I was doing the task from. I was by the harbor, close to one of the gang house.
Okay, you're gonna see a lot of that shootout in progress. So basically, one minute they exchanging words, and the next minute they dumping in the middle of the road between each other. You can put this in check. You can put this in, use this as a macro, and somebody would instantly jump on and say, "What's your location?" Tell them your location. You can kind of like, if they, let's just say they turn on you and they turn their gun, they start shooting at you. You get what I'm saying? You the officer. You watched it go down. You can put up the shoots, defends myself and self defense civilians and fellow officers as well, and start shooting back. Okay, I believe because a taser ain't gonna do. They gonna see you with that taser, be like, you just, they start saying all types of stuff. Trust you me, I've been out in the shootout in progress. I have, even just going on the active ride along. I've seen it, and I am the type, and I tell all my new recruits, if you see something, say something. We're here to protect and serve and help other civilians survive. Because not every civilian out here wants to join a gang, and not every civilian out here wants to join a faction. You get what I'm saying? We trying to make it clean and fun for everybody, and our goal is safety is our number one priority. Okay.
Yep.
Hit and run. Prime example, what you just said. What if somebody take the back of their car and just ram into me? What if you see a pedestrian walking on the side of the road and walking in the crosswalk and the vehicle comes and hits them? That's a hit and run. Because if they hit that pedestrian, guess what? If they keep running, that's a hit and run. If you witness it and you close by your, even if you're in the vehicle and you're close by that accident, you can go right into in pursuit to hawk them down because they just hit somebody and kept going. That's a violation as well. That's a crime.
Yeah, but the only thing is like, say for instance, I'm in a pursuit, I would have to like take my hand off the acceleration to actually click on the macro, slide up and click the macro. So probably by that time the pursuit is ahead of me.
Hey, listen, you want to know the weird thing, but it's the truth. I'm going to tell you. I'm finna give you some knowledge. Let me tell you something. When you get badge, and let's say you doing a couple of ride-alongs with one of your DFGs that are in the suit or one of your vested officers like me, trust you me, I've had to drive and throw up macros and chat. Like, you will learn how to do it because what if you go, you get high like me and invested, and I'm pretty sure you want to go far. You get what I'm saying, and I encourage everybody too that I train to go far, keep pushing for the goal. Um, you're gonna have to do both, so you got to kind of muscle memory is key. You know, repetitiveness, consistency is key because it actually can be done. If you talk to some of them DFGs, they'll tell you it can be done. You get what I'm saying? Because sometimes people don't want to, you don't have to go on an active 10, 12 once you become higher, past a recruit or past a private. You can actually go on a solo one, okay? You're going to have to do both. Now, do we encourage you to go with somebody? Yes, we do. Because you can drive and that person can throw up macros or vice versa. Make sense?
Yep, totally.
That's why we always say go with a partner, go with somebody, you know.
Yeah, it's not good to ride solo, you know?
In my opinion, it ain't safe, but hey, it is what it is. We PD, so we can't just be scared or we have to protect the city. You know what I'm saying? I definitely understand. So, cause when I started, I was just like, I'm gonna get gunned down, and I'm only a level 4. Like, it's not safe out here in these streets, but you have to kind of like take a chance. I mean, I'm curious. I'm the curious type, so I need to go and see on my own what it's actually like. Cause I can go on a 10, 12, anybody all day with no problem, and we're gonna get the arrest, and we're gonna be the booking officer and things of that nature. So I had to see. I was curious. Do, would I go by myself? No.
Alright, more question. So for instance, when I get the badge and so for instance, I arrest someone and I bring them back to PD, where do I take them to the violation part?
No, we have a jail cell right next to the violations room. So when we get finished with
Also,
yeah, when we get finished with violation, I'm gonna take it down there so you can see it. Okay.
oh yeah, so I would just put them in the cell first, then the paperwork after.
What you would do is violate them first. So add the violations on them. Let's just say, for example, you did a traffic stop and they you want to take them to jail for 1.7 and a 3.2. So what you would do, like I said, you would Miranda write them, pat them down. You would put in chat you're being arrested for, and you would state the charges. But when you state the charges in chat, you see the button, the little circle with the three little dots next to the microphone? If you stand
Yeah,
next close
I'm
to,
seeing it.
yeah, if you stand close and next up onto your suspect that you have detained, you can actually put the violations on them right then and there. So when you get down to PD, guess what you taking them? You putting them in the jail cell because you already added the violations. But what we want to use as muscle memory is always take a screenshot of the violations, um, so you can add them to show, because we have like a spot where you could do like body cam footage and arrest and booking, and you'll be able to take a screenshot and upload the video. But that's at a later time. I don't want to keep be so long with anybody. I don't want to confuse you. I want you to get your badge first, and then I'll break that down even more. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, because if we, let's just say, for example, me and you go on a 10, 12 right along, okay, and you can't get out the vehicle. So I would have to arrest them, read them Miranda rights, you can see how it would go. You get what I'm saying? And then what I would do before, even technically, if they get into the way they want us to do it and the way I'm gonna train it is basically want you to put the violations on them before you get down to the jail. Okay. Or you can do it when you get at the jail. I've booked people and put people in prison right from put people in jail right from the first floor. You get what I'm saying? So you can put them right before you just put them in the jail. You can put the violations on them. So don't feel like, oh shoot, I gotta put them out on the streets. You don't have to. Like I said, you learn the way that you would like to handle it, how you're comfortable with arrest, do it the way you're comfortable. Okay? But like I said, just make sure the violations get on them before you place them in jail. I'm gonna say that.
Okay. Oh, one more thing before you the next one. Yeah. So for instance, I arrest them and I bring them here to put the violation to them. So for instance, they were shooting one another. What would I put as the violation?
Okay, Mr. McKinley, repeat that for me one more time. I want to give you a good answer for that. Okay, so tell me again.
Yeah. So for instance, I arrest someone, I bring them to PD, and I want to put the violation on them from there. You said I could go close to them and click the three lines and put the violation on them from there. So, for instance, they were shooting, what would be the violation I give to them for that? Are there specific different types of things like you
Yes,
write
there
on the
is.
violation to them?
Yeah, so when I finish with the macros, I'm gonna actually go into violations, and it is, let's just say for example they murdered in front of you, okay, and you caught that violation. That violation on the criminal charge is a 1.11.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking like. If
Yeah.
you have specific things for
Yeah, we're gonna once I finish up with explaining the macros or what each macro means, I'm gonna go into violations, and I'm gonna read off the violations to you and tell you what they mean as well. So this little session doesn't end; it goes right into violations. I'm gonna show you where to access the book to look at the violations as I go through them. Okay.
great. Thank you.
Okay. Armed suspects. Suspects basically, a lot of the gang members they got AK-47s, Glocks, whatever you name it. So armed suspect means just to let everybody know there is an armed suspect on scene. Um, it's just the basically okay. So at least you're not technically what you're not gonna like what you're doing is basically let us know what's going on while you're at the scene or what's going on far as once you get to the scene that there are armed suspects. You just making everybody know ahead of time when you ask for backup needed that we need to be locked, loaded, and ready to go. Make sense?
Totally.
Basically, you telling us please don't bring no knife to no gunfight. Okay?
Yep.
Okay. Okay, like I said, 1080 is in pursuit. Like I said, we were just explaining, like, what if he just take off? If you want to go after him and make the arrest or do the traffic stop, you can go in pursuit, okay, with that civilian that took off on you, okay? This is just to let everybody know that you're in pursuit, which is 1080. But guess what? Also will pop up in floppy chat. It'll say what's your location. So you can always at all times this PD is very active in helping our fellow officers. Okay, so we work as a team. So just never know that you're you're not alone because we see and we look in chat of what's going on at all times. Okay. All right. So en route means basically you're en route to the scene. Okay. You want to let your fellow officers, myself, Franco, Mr. Sand Snow, to let them know that you're en route to the actual scene. Okay. So, and like I said, 9 out of 10 they will interact. Our team, we're heavy on interacting with each other. What's your location? En route to Hands, or I'm en route to Gang House 3, or I'm en route to Hollywood Hills. You're letting people know that you're en route, okay? Okay. Officer down is 10-100. So let's just say, for example, Franco, just to say, for example, Mr. Officer McKinney, you was with me, okay? And you were driving, and I'm throwing up macros, okay? So you just worry about driving. We made it to the scene, okay? Let's just say, because you're on badge, you can't get out. So that means you can't even get out to help me, or at least, try to, do something. Okay? So that's a no no, being unbadged. You can put in this
Okay.
10-100 the officer down. Okay? And you can do 10-100 officer down, backup needed. Okay? And they ask you
It's
what's your
nice
location.
asking locations.
Yep, there you go. You got it. You got it. So you can let them know that I'm dead, but you in the vehicle and you need backup. Okay, let me see. Supervisor needed is important too as well. It's a 32, 37. So basically, let's just say you down at the jail and down at PD, and you put somebody in handcuffs. Now, 9 out of 10, you may see other members that are currently been locked up or in jail. And let's just say they have a situation with an officer and they request supervisor needed. You can put it in chat that supervisors needed. They'll ask you location. You can say PDG, first floor, okay? Or even if they ask at the scene of the crime, supervisor needed.
Or even if they ask it.
Say it again.
What is PDG?
Uh, Police department garage. That's floor 0.
Okay, okay.
That's the
But
our
you need
zero.
to
That's
reply
our
to
ground
Mr.
floor.
I.
Yeah, that's
You need
ground.
to reply to Mr. I.
Who? Lord, she just got on. Give me a moment.
Let her know you're training.
Okay, that's what's going on. It's an officer down. Um, I don't want to leave you up here though. That's crazy. They went back. They got back up. Did you see it in chat, Officer McKinley?
I was replying to her because she was asking location all along.
Yeah, but then right above, right underneath, she said all available officers respond to backup needed. Shots fired. Officer down. Call please. So she's actually active on the scene, and she probably got shot down.
Seeing it.
So that means she's in the field doing a in pursuit.
Yeah, I see it.
Hmm. Okay. All right. This is step out the vehicle with your hands up. Don't run or reach for anything, or force may be used. So basically, let's say they came back. They were on the wanted list. You throw this macro up to let them know, please do not basically be still. If you don't comply, lethal force will be used. Period. Okay? That's kind of self explanatory in itself. Okay, I think. Okay. So hands citation for the civilian to sign. This is the one when you did a traffic stop and you issued them a citation for speeding. Okay. You would throw this macro up before you let them go. And what you do, you tell them, say, can you please sign this copy of this citation? You tell them, I need you to put slash do sign in chat. And 9 out of 10, they will do sign in chat. Okay. That means to let you know that they just signed their citation that you gave them. Okay.
Okay.
I may have to run and do I might have to do this. Okay. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to try to get through all the macros because I'm almost done. And then if you want to go to floor one, floor zero, you can. Um, oh no, never mind. They're being called out. Edge and Kai, let's go. Okay. So never mind. Disregard that, and we'll continue.
Okay.
Okay. You have warrants for your arrest, no sudden movement. So basically, you let them know that they have warrants for their arrest and no sudden movements. Put the weapon away now, or force will be used. This is the West Coast PD. We usually use this, for example, for like if we do a raid on a gang house and we're trying to let them know to put the weapon away or force will be used. Like I said, it is a crime to actually discharge in a public place. That's a violation, but we'll get to that, okay?
Okay.
Okay. Shut the car off, drop the keys out the window for me, please. So let's just say, for example, they still got the car on and they trying to back up and forth or back up in you and you ram you. You let them know with, let them know, say, shut the car off, please. You get what I'm saying? Throw the keys out the window. So that means they have to physically go in, hit the car wheel, and shut their vehicle off and, role play and throw the keys out the window. Okay. We use this macro a lot, for example, like during our hiring events. Um, First and final warning, leave the area now or you will be charged with a 1.7 and a 3.2. This is a green zone, not a chill zone. Please leave now. So this macro we use, when somebody's just lingering around PD and they don't want to leave and they're not listening to what we already asked them to do, we can throw this macro up to let them know they will be charged with a 1.7 and a 3.2. Okay? This is a green zone, not a chill zone. Because right now we're in the green zone.
Okay.
Okay? Taser, taser, taser. I have tased you. Um, To gain control of the situation, follow my commands, or lethal force will be used. This is you giving them absolute final warning before you hit the other macro that says taser, taser, taser to actually tase him. Okay, so you have to give them a warning, let them know what you're doing, let the PD know what you're doing, so that way you can cover you. Okay, that's why we always say keep body cam running, because they call themselves being kind of slick and being smart, and they know the rules, and they will try to green ticket you. Okay, this will just cover you moving forward.
Okay.
Taser, taser, taser breaks window, dragging individual out of the car and taking them in order to gain control of the situation. We use that macro as well. That's basically, you're taking control of the situation by tasering them and breaking the window and pulling them out of the vehicle. Okay.
Okay.
Yells, get out the vehicle and off of the concrete. Oh, nope, that's not that one. So disregard that one. So I'm actually NRP in another faction. I'm in the military. So disregard that. But we are finished with our macros. Okay. Let's go on to violations. Okay. So what I want you to do, I want you go ahead. What I want you to do, right at the top of your screen, right above your screen, because I know you're probably on your iPhone. There is a backpack.
I don't use the iPhone.
Say it again.
I don't use the iPhone.
Oh,
It's
okay,
an
okay.
Android.
Oh, okay, perfect. So I'm an Android tablet too as well. So right at the top of your screen, right above where it says type, tap or write a message. If you look to the right hand corner of the screen, it has a backpack, a bell, and then the booklet. Okay, I want you to click on the booklet.
What must I click on?
Click on the book. It looks like a book next to the word that says store in yellow.
What am I going to do?
Okay, you're gonna go over to rules, and then you're gonna click the last tab at the top right hand corner of the screen where it says violations. We're gonna go over violations, okay, and what they mean.
Okay.
Right. Okay, so the first criminal violation is a 1.1. It's capture of state institutions. Okay, these are the violations that you can actually put on a um, criminal that has violated these violations. Okay, so like I said, 1.1 is capture of state institutions. So basically, capture of state institutions is basically like a complete takeover. Let's just say the gang house flooded, PD. That would never happen, but this is just me painting you a scenario, okay? And they do a complete takeover. You can, each person that you capture, you can put a 1.1 on them, which is capture of state institutions, okay? Criminal violation 1.2 is taking power by force. So basically, that's abuse of power. They're overstepping their boundaries and they're taking over by force and by power. Okay, if you see something, say something. If you know what I'm saying, like, aside from being a complete takeover, if they're using abuse of power, you can charge them with a 1.2. Okay, that's a criminal violation.
So that one you can do. Charge an officer with it.
No, you can charge not charge an officer with it. We have different other units that handle those type of like rogue officers, I shall say. Okay. Once you get badged and you start learning about the different units, then you would kind of like understand what the difference is between taking, a rogue officer and taking
Okay,
power
I
by
see.
force. Yeah, these are usually violations that you would give. Let's just say a civilian just turn all of a sudden want to take power by force. You get what I'm saying? You can charge them with a 1.2. This not necessarily goes for our officers as well as it would go for the civilians out in the street that you come in contact with. Make sense?
Okay.
Okay, so 1.3 is taking hostages. Okay, kidnapping. Yes, I've seen it. I have seen it with my own two eyes. Kidnapping and taking over a hostage situation. There's rules and regulations as far as the actual role play of how long you can actually capture and keep a person held against their will as a hostage. It's no more than 20 minutes. Okay, anything over that is just complete abuse. Okay, so if you see it, take action. You can charge them with a 1.3. It's actually taking hostages and kidnapping. Okay. 1.4 is fatal collision with a pedestrian. Okay, let's just say little Johnny or little Benny walking across the crosswalk, and technically they're a pedestrian. And a fatal collision with a pedestrian is basically like a hit and run. They literally collided with a civilian. Okay, you see that with a lot of gang members. Okay, you can charge them with a 1.4.
Okay.
1.5 is attempted theft. So that means basically if you see somebody trying to steal somebody out of somebody's wallet, because if you notice when you open your chat box and it has like do, try, me, NRP, Sims messages like sending a private message to someone. So let's just say you went to the bank or you standing at a coffee shop. Okay, you're a police officer because we're in uniform. We don't get to take it off unless we go on vacation and we have to put in for that. Okay, so let's just say you at the burger shop and you see a gang member trying to steal somebody's wallet. You see it, take action on it, and arrest them, and you can charge them with a 1.5. Okay, attempted theft. 1.6 is a robbery of a police officer. So, for example, because a lot of us own our own regular cars and things of that nature, we can go to the tuner shop, we can go to the business, and upgrade our businesses, and kind of handle our business. Okay, even if you in your personal vehicle, you can charge them with a 1.6 attempted theft of a police officer. That is a real violation, and yes, you can set that violation upon them. Okay, just make sure you throw up your correct macros and what you would do in that situation, because you're in your personal vehicle and you cannot take them in your personal vehicle. You will put in the macro requesting inmate transportation. Make sense?
Yep.
Okay.
I got you.
Okay. Okay, so violation 1.7 is the, like I said, the macro that we saw that I threw up about the chill zone. This is chill zone, not a this is, you can be charged with a 1.7 and 3.2. This is not a chill zone. This is a green zone, not a chill zone. Please leave. So basically, 1.7 is uncoordinated entry into a state facility. So we're considered a state facility because we're a police department. So let's just say, for example, during the hiring event, we have so many people that come in. Some of them are don't mean us no good, and some of those that want to be a part of PD, they join PD during that time. Uncoordinated entry is basically we told you to leave the property. This is a state facility property. You did not leave. We can charge you with a 1.7 because we told you on several occasions that please leave if you're not here for an event or you're not here to talk to an officer. You need to leave. If you coming in to pay your violations and your tickets, you need to do what you need to do and you need to leave. Okay. There's no lingering down on first floor at all. No movement. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, so violation 1.8 is collision with a pedestrian. You can charge them with a 1.8 if, let's just say, like I said, it's kind of the same one when we did about the fatal collision means that they killed that person. Okay, fatal means just death. Collision with a pedestrian, they can bump them with their car a little hard and they fall over. That's collision with a pedestrian. You can charge them with a 1.8. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, so a 1.9 is discharging a weapon in a public place. Like prime example, we are in a green zone. HP is a green zone. Army is a green zone. So basically, they cannot discharge a weapon in a public place, even at the park. That's a green zone. Um, Anywhere where you see green zones, they are not supposed to discharge a weapon at all. That means they are not even supposed to whip that sucker out, type of thing, because that is a 1.9 charge. Discharging a weapon in a public place. Okay, so a 1.10 is bribing a police officer. I repeat, do not take any bribes from anyone to try to get out of jail or try to get out of, a traffic stop. Do not take anything. Don't take any money. Don't say, hey, I'll give you these 8 get out of jail free cards if you let me out of jail. None of it. Don't take nothing. Okay? That is a violation, and that you could be reprimanded for that because you took a bribe. You're not supposed to do that. We have a duty to uphold, to protect, and serve, and that's our job. We don't take any bribes at all because we get paid every 30 minutes. Okay, sitting in PD doing 10, 12, doing mission patrols. We get paid. Okay, it might not be much right now, but you will once you start to rank up. You'll see why. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, a violation 1.11 is murder of a civilian or a police officer. So just like how we were seeing in chat, officer down, they can get charged with a 1.11 because they actually murdered a police officer or they murdered a civilian. The white zone is called the neutral zone. Now these gang members can actually commit a murder in the white zone, which is neutral. Okay, if you see something, say something. If you wanna take action, take action. Okay, um, it's important. And if you see the murder go down and they murdered you or they murdered your fellow officer, when you get a hold to them, you arrest them, charge them with a 1.11. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So a 1.12 is assaulting a police officer. They have it in parentheses in that rule book as hitting. So sometimes what we do to each other, we hit each other down here in PDG, but we're relaxed. We're kind of like hanging out, getting to know each other, things of that nature. We kind of do it as, hey, I'm on, what's up, like that. But if you see a civilian hit you, that is assaulting a police officer because you are a man in uniform. Make sense? You can charge them with a 1.12 violation.
Yep.
All right. Okay, next we're on to the civil violations. Violation 2.1 is damaging to state property. Okay, so state property can be running into the police station, running a vehicle into HP, running a vehicle into the army. But you know the army has their own set of dealings they have to deal with. But HP and PD, even if they um, hit a light pole and they knock that sucker down, that is a 2.1. That's a civil charge. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, so 2.2 civil violation is harm or damage to personal property. So I have a vehicle, you have a vehicle. If you see somebody ramming into your vehicle, that's damage to personal property. Like if they send your car in smokes, that's damage to state property. You can charge them violation charge with a 2.2. Okay. Two point three violation, which is civil, is making false calls to the police department, making fake 911 calls. If you catch someone doing it, you can charge them with a civil charge of a 2.3. Okay, let's just say they give over the airwaves and call themselves saying, "I'd like to make a 911 call," and then hang up, and then by the time you get to the location, nobody's there. But if you catch that person doing it in the flesh, charge them with a 2.3. That's a civil violation.
I got it.
Okay. Okay, two civil violation 2.4 is debauchery. Playing loud music, being obnoxious, making obnoxious sounds. You can charge the civilians with a 2.4, especially if you tell them, hey, listen, can you turn the music down? And they keep playing it louder and louder, and then it becomes just overwhelming. Catch them on site, charge them with a 2.4, which is debauchery. Because you told them to turn the music down and they didn't, and you told them not to be obnoxious with those other noises that they make and they didn't, charge them with a 2.4. That's a civil violation.
Uh,
Okay, civil violation 2.5 is a murder threats or just threats, period. So if they send out death threats to you and to the team members, whoever you arrested, let's just say you got a civilian handcuffs because they were on a wanted list. And if they start making murder threats to you, charge them with a. You can add on charges as well, on charges on top of what they already have. So 2.4 is murder threats, civil charge, violation. Charge them with it. Add it to their violation list. Okay.
Good night, everyone. I'm going to bed.
Good night, Chief.
all
You guys have a
right.
good one.
You too. Get you some sleep. I'm sorry, my correction. That's a 2.5. I'm sorry about the murder threats. That's a 2.5 civil violation. My eyes playing tricks on me, McKinney, but I'm gonna get through it. We almost done.
Yeah.
Okay, violation 2.6 is insulting a state employee. Okay, we are considered state employees. EMS and medical is considered state employees. So if you hear any insulting words, you can charge them with a 2.6. Now with the 2.6, I want to let you know you can charge them with a 2.6 up to 6 times per violation. So let's just say they around there calling you bitch, or they calling you fat ass, they calling you this, oh you punk this, you punk that. Every time they start insulting you, you can charge them up to 6 times with a 2.6. Okay? You would actually put in the chat or the under their violations 2.6 times 3 or 2.6 times 6. Make sense? And a 2.7 civil violation is extortion. Okay? Extortion to me, in my terminology, is how I break it down, is blackmail. Okay? They're blackmailing you, they're extorting you for what? Uh, give me one moment, Officer McKinley.
Okay.
Okay, so 2.7 criminal civil violation is extortion, blackmail. Okay, if you see somebody being blackmailed or extorted, charge them. Charge them. Just charge them, cause that's wrong. You're not supposed to extort or blackmail anyone. Our goal in this game is to role play, have fun, and make friends with new people, even people on the outside, civilians as well. Okay.
Okay.
Oh shit. My eyes playing tricks on me. I'm sorry. All right. Okay, so we are on the last set of violations, which is going to be administrative, which is going to be starting with 3.1. Okay. Okay, violation 3.1 is resisting arrest. Anybody that gives you a hard time trying to arrest them, you can charge them with a 3.1 on top of whatever violations that you would like to charge them with. Resisting arrest, they just basically they prevent you from putting them in handcuffs. Okay, they're giving you a hard time by actually putting them in handcuffs. Sometimes when you first do your first arrest, it's a little nerve wracking, but it goes a little fast. Okay, so all I tell my officers, take your time, breathe, and muscle memory is key. Okay, but if they just giving you a hard time, Officer McKinley, charge them with a 3.1, which is a resisting arrest.
Okay, I
3.2.
got you.
Officer McKinley 3.2 violation is disobeying a police officer. So if you ask them to do something the first time and they didn't respond, or even if you gave them a courtesy and asked them again, I like to play baseball. Three strikes, you're out. Okay. So if I asked you the first time and you didn't respond, I asked you the second time and you still didn't make an effort, and I asked you the three time and you still didn't move, I'm going to charge you with a 3.2, disobeying a police officer's orders and commands. Okay, I'm not even gonna play with you. I'm gonna slap you with a 3.2. Okay. Okay. Violation 3.3 is um, aiding and resisting arrest. So basically, let's just say you got two gang members. They done rolled together. Okay. One of the gang members got so many violations. He's spitting violations out of his butt, Star Spangled Banner type of thing. Okay. And let's just say his buddy over there is aiding the resisting of arrest. You can actually lock them up both and charge them both with a three point three, aiding a resisting of arrest. Okay, I think that's a 3.2.
Okay.
I take it back. 3.3. We did 3.2. 3.3. Violation 3.3. Okay, violation 3.4 is basically running red lights, hitting poles, hitting traffic poles, not obeying the traffic laws, speeding. You can charge them with a 3.4. This will be good and used for if you ever did a traffic stop. So, for example, you say, "Hey, Mrs. Linus, please, can you turn off your vehicle, turn on your hazards?" "Okay, sir, not a problem. Do you know why I pulled you over?" "Okay, well, I pulled you over because you ran a stop sign back there, or you're going 80 miles in a 75 mile per hour speed limit zone." "Okay, what I'm gonna do, and if they consistently do it and you run into the same people, you may not. But hey, listen, you can stick that violation on me. 3.4 violation. Okay? Or you can choose to just do a warning or a citation. But if you run into the same people or you're running into the same issues where you're seeing that a lot, make somebody out an example and charge them with a 3.4.
Yep.
Okay, violation 3.4, 3.5 is assaulting a civilian. So if you see, Mary had a little lamb run up to Mob Deep or the, Dark Nation gang, run up and hit somebody, you can charge them with a 3.5. That's hitting a civilian. That's not nice. Especially if they didn't do anything to provoke you to hit them, charge them with a 3.5 violation. That is a administrative violation.
Okay.
All right. Okay. And last but not least, on the violations list, and this is going to conclude our violations training and macro training as well, is a three. Let me double check. Give me one moment. 3.6 is refusal of ID and verification. Let's just say you wanted to pull, Sans no identification. Let's just say he was out on the streets. You want to pull his asking for his request of documents as far as his ID and vehicle specs and things of that nature. You can charge them with a 3.6 if they do not if you're requesting it and they refuse to give it to you, okay? So don't be scared to, even if you do, hey, let me get your ID. Can I check your verification? I want to just check your ID. Just, doing a little small little ID check, whatever you would like the role play to say. And if they refuse, charge them with a 3.6, just violate them. Because everybody should be willing to give up their identification, especially when you're not doing anything wrong. And if we just want to do a random ID check or a verification check, the rule is to obey what your police officer is telling you to do, you know. And if they don't obey, you can violate them with that 3.6.
Okay, I see.
Okay. So, Mr. McKinley, this concludes our macros and violations training. You have passed this training. So, what we're going to do next, I think next on the list, did you do the PD tour?
Yes, I do.
Okay, you did a PD tour. So, the next on the list is going to be PD1 and PD2. Okay, PD1 basically is that we're going to show you how to perform a traffic stop using your macros, and you're going to basically actually perform it. So we're going to show you the first couple of times, and then you'll go and perform it. This helps you get your badge, and this helps you get out there rolling and doing 10-12s, and actually seeing how it goes in the field. Okay, and then your PD2 is basically showing you when a suspect or a traffic stop turns into a wanted, like somebody actually came back and their ID was dirty. Makes sense? They were wanted for murder, and you so happily pulled them over. So it's gonna show you how the macros make sense. Okay, and you have to pass PD1 and PD2 in order to get your badge. Okay. Oh, and a drive
Okay.
test as well. Let me see what officers is on because I know I need another. Because I actually need a uniform. I'm vested, so I think I need one more uniform and I think one more vested besides me, so we can get your PD1 and PD2 done. Did you do taser training as well, Mr. McKinley?
Yes, I did.
Okay, perfect. So we're down to PD1, PD2, and drive test. Okay, so give me one moment. Let me see who's on. Okay. Now, do you have anything to
Okay.
do? We can conclude tomorrow. It really doesn't matter. It's up to you. But if I can find somebody on, we're gonna do it today.
No.
Okay, so you're free. So give me a moment.